school became very hard. I ended up having a psychiatric episode that resulted in hospitalization. And while inpatient, no one really questioned whether the family dynamics were at play or my internet addiction was at play. In fact, the psychiatrist only really talked to me about the fact that my name was different on the door and my chest was flat-ish and I had short hair and, like, what is all of that about? And I, at the time, because it was very much maybe coming to be more concrete, but very much a fluid role play identity, I was set on, I'm not going to talk about this until I'm 18. I'm going to figure it out when I'm an adult. My parents, that's not going to fly with them. And, he pressed me further, asked me about that summer camp that I mentioned. And eventually, to get him to stop, I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm trans. He had floated the idea that, maybe sometimes people don't identify with their bodies. Maybe they identify with being a boy when they're a girl. And I just agreed. But I did tell him, don't tell my parents. It's not something I want to talk about right now. It's not something I want to work through right now. And then he did anyways, which is a complex topic, we can talk about another time, parental disclosure, but that opened the floodgates because then, my mom and my stepdad were like, we thought she'd be gay, but not, we didn't think she'd be a boy, right? Like that's the last thing anybody tethered to reality in that way is going to think about. But they asked my dad and my stepmom, who had just come into my life, to kind of hold off, and they didn't. So they facilitated my social transition, and later parts of my medical transition. And at age 17, I started hormones after going to a support group with those parents. And the nurse practitioner I met there was the one who prescribed those hormones. He was going to the support group as a parent. So his own child, an adult child, was transgender.